Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of My Thoughts On. I got C. Carter here as usual, and we're going to be discussing WWE SummerSlam 2015.
Well, Nathan, I think that tonight we can say that SummerSlam was very good. The ending was questionable, but we'll discuss it when we get to it.
Absolutely, we got quite a bit to talk about because there were 10 matches on this 4-hour show. So,
hmm
definitely a huge SummerSlam. Before we get into the matches, of course, Jon Stewart, he was the special guest host for this event.
hmm Jon Stewart said he was going to interview Brock Lesnar. Called out Mick Foley. Mick Foley, for backup. Mick Foley thought that Jon Stewart was going to interview The Rock, and apparently Foley was wrong. It's just a little comedy skit. It was pointless. It was funny, but it was pointless, and they just went on with the show.
Yeah, I guess they had to fill up time somehow.
Could have done better. They could have done
Very
better.
Very true. Very true. But let's get on with the actual match card. As first off, we had Sheamus versus Randy Orton.
Man, I thought that boy, what a matchup because Sheamus and Randy Orton. This was a good way to open up SummerSlam between these two. And even though Sheamus did walk away with the victory, I'm hearing rumors, Nathan. I'm hearing rumors on SCScoops.com that Night of Champions, Sheamus and Orton go face off against each other in a 2 out of 3 falls match at Night of Champions. That's what I'm hearing. But tonight was awesome. That's kind of funny because they had a gift. Now, they not one. You know what a gift is?
Yeah,
GIF. And they did a joke like it says Sheamus versus Orton 2 out of 3 at Night of Champions, and the guy jumps out the window. But I think that overall though, it was a great way to open up SummerSlam. Finally, Sheamus gets out the snide because I don't think did he. I don't think. I think this is his first pay per view victory since Money in the Bank. If I'm correct.
I think you're right because I think at Battleground he had a match, but he lost, if I remember correctly.
Mm, this was so it was nice when he finally got this nine. He needed this win. Nice job, by the way, also for Randy Orton for putting him over.
Absolutely. This has been an interesting rivalry, I guess, because it kind of started out of nowhere.
Like
But
an RKO out from nowhere.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but at least they're building it into being like a legitimate rivalry.
Indeed. This whole thing started, like we said, when Sheamus costed Randy Orton a championship when he was fighting against Seth Rollins after hitting Rollins with an RKO. And Sheamus attacked Randy Orton, referee rang the bell for disqualification. And then just as Sheamus was getting ready to cash in, Randy Orton turned around here with the RKO. And they say that's how we got to this point tonight.
Yep. And now Sheamus and Randy Orton, I think this was their second match in their feud.
hmm
So they'll be heading into probably their third at
Yeah,
Night of Champions.
yeah, probably might be a 2 out of 3 falls. That's what I'm hearing, but I might be wrong.
Well, we'll see as we
hmm
move on to the next match of the night, the Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. It was Los Matadores versus the Lucha Dragons versus the Primetime Players versus the New Day.
Okay, first of all, why? For the love of God, white for their outfits? I mean, good lord. I mean, I guess the color white is popular for SummerSlam because later on we'll see that Seth Rollins was dressed like a Power Ranger, but that's
Yeah,
beside the point. But I enjoyed the matchup. I would have joined a little bit better if Xavier Woods would just shut up. Um, because you could hear him yelling at the top of his lungs, yelling at the top of his lungs. We eat cereal, we eat eggs, we eat sausage, and blah blah blah. said, good Lord, we don't need to learn that much information. You already posted on Instagram what you have for breakfast. We don't need to know that much information, Xavier. Sit down. Calm down, boy. But I think that overall though, I said that the New Day was gonna win. I didn't say how they was gonna do it because we saw that Titus hit the Clash of Titus, and then I think Kofi Kingston and Big E, Kofi Kingston ended up getting the pinfall over. I think it was Fernando that was out cold. And Kofi Kingston got the pinfall, and as a result, the New Day are once again your tag team champions. I'm pretty sure there's not too many people that are happy about it, but I'll say this also. It's also nice that WWE is doing something with Kofi and Big E other than just having them being in the locker room and collecting dust.
Yeah, very true. And to be honest, I didn't think the primetime players were going to hold the tag team titles for as long as they did. To be honest, actually, when they won them, I didn't think they were even going to do that.
What I'm also hoping, Nathan, is that I hope WWE does not make the mistake again and split these two up.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they split up the primetime players, Darren Young, I think he was injured at that time. And Titus O'Neil went off to do a tag team with Heath Slater, and that bombed.
Slater Gator.
Yeah, and Heath Slater isn't even really doing anything now, but
I think Heath Slater's in Superstars and Main Event, I believe.
Yeah, and let's face it, really nobody watches those shows anymore.
Unless you had the WWE Network, or if you go watch Main Event, Hulu.
Yeah, but the primetime players, back in the day, like when they first formed, like 3 years ago, they were better, I will say, than they are now, because they were more over with the fans. Like all the fans, the whole arena, whenever they came out, like 3 years ago, they were doing that dance that they do, and now you see a few of them doing it, but not nearly as much as you would back then. So I think it would have been a better idea for them to put the titles on them when they were more over than they were a few months ago when they gave them the titles.
Also would have been better off if you want to eliminate the Xavier Woods factor. I think it would have been better off if you let the primetime players bring back Abraham Washington. Maybe it's me.
Yeah, but I highly doubt they're going to bring him back.
Yeah, after the shenanigans they said he did over a joke, so that's understandable. But congratulations to the New Day for being new tag team champions.
Indeed. As we move on to the next match, it was Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev.
Why? Why would you end the match on a double count out? Come on. I mean, you knew the fans, they didn't like the finish. Why would you end the match up on a double count out? And then we had a cat fight to add insult to injury.
Yeah, I think that means that next time Dolph Ziggler and Rusev face off, it might be a mixed tag team match with Lana and Summer Rae in there.
Has anyone seen Lana wrestling though?
That's a good question. I mean,
did she wrestle in not TNA? Did she wrestle in NXT? Because as far as we know, that she's been the manager of Rusev, and Rusev was in NXT, I believe.
Yeah, I think she was a manager the whole time.
Yeah, but let's explain something. Did you see the way how she came out? Way how Lana came out with Dolph Ziggler in that outfit? Who?
Yeah, definitely not used to seeing her in that kind of attire. But I definitely was not complaining.
Yeah, there was a lot of men that were howling at the moon.
Yeah, but overall, I don't mind the Ziggler-Rusev feud. I think it was doing fairly well.
Now, Nathan, I'm going to sidetrack for a moment because I think I forgot which in between which the segment this came in. I don't know which matchup, but we saw Stephen Amell, Neville, John Stewart, and apparently John's son think that was his son. They were talking backstage. And like I said, John Stewart said he wanted to talk to the Undertaker. Placement dog. Like I said, there was a cameo Undertaker walking by. I mean, it was kind of funny. And I thought for a moment there, Neville pooped his pants. Amell looked nervous. I think either John or his son's mouth fell to the floor. Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
awesome. But I hate the fact that matchup ended a double count out. Like, come on, WWE, you could do better than that. You should never have a match at your big show end in a double count out. That should be a rule.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that, but maybe they thought it would be a nice way to continue the feud, but add a little more to it.
Hmm.
Even though, really, over the past few weeks, we've seen Lana and Summer Rae go at it anyway.
Hmm.
And for a while, Dolph Ziggler wasn't even around because he was out with an injury.
Well, yes, he was story-wise he was out, but in reality he was actually in Vancouver making a movie. So
Yes, but we're sticking with the
story-wise
tape
he was out.
a little bit, yeah. Yeah,
Story-wise he was out.
but yeah, that was pretty much really just to build on the whole Lana and Summer Rae thing,
Hmm.
to add them to the feud a little bit.
Hmm.
So we'll probably see a mixed tag team match between them, possibly at Night of Champions.
Hmm. I wouldn't be surprised.
And speaking of tag team matches, the next match was Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow, and the Red Arrow, Neville, taking on Stardust and Cosmic King Barrett.
Oh boy. Once again, WWE comes up short against a Hollywood superstar. It's getting to a point, Nathan. It's getting to a point where WWE says, "Okay, then maybe we shouldn't have Hollywood stop by WWE anymore because they're kicking our tails at almost every event, from Snooki to I forgot to Stephen Amell." And you gotta give the kid credit. You gotta give the guy credit though. He did have some wrestling moves, and he really did prove that he was tough enough. And you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, I was impressed with Stephen Amell. I didn't expect him to do that much as he did. I mean, he even jumped off the top rope, flew on top of Stardust and Barrett on the outside, and you don't really see too many celebrities pull off spots like that.
Hmm.
I mean, it wasn't the prettiest thing, but at least he did it.
Absolutely. That was an awesome matchup. Good victory for Amell and Neville. And hopefully, I want to say that this should be the end of Stardust, but chances are it won't.
Knowing WWE probably won't, because they haven't really been doing much with Stardust all that much over the past
Hmm.
few months. And for this feud, they've really been building him up a bit more, so I think they're going to stick with the gimmick for a while longer.
Hmm.
And it
Well,
felt like they were building him and Barrett up as a legitimate tag team, so maybe they'll do more as a team in the future.
yeah, hopefully because Barrett's not doing that much now.
Yeah, that's true. So they need to do something with Barrett and Stardust even. So if making them a tag team is what they have to do, so be it then. At least they're doing something.
Hmm.
But I agree, yeah, that was a pretty good match. As we move on to the next match of the night. Ryback versus Big Show versus The Miz. Triple threat match, Intercontinental title on the line. And we were supposed to get this at Battleground, but since Ryback was out due to a staph infection, that match was postponed to SummerSlam.
I was surprised that Ryback managed to held his own during that matchup, in spite of him suffering that staph infection. He held his own and he retained the title. Now the funny part about it, I remember on commentary, Michael Cole said, "Miz going by the script," and
Yeah.
going by the script because Miz jumped on Big Show 2 count, jumped on Ryback 2 count, jumped back on Big Show 2 count, jumped back on Ryback 2 count. I was telling myself, what's going on here?
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty funny part of the match. Like Miz is trying, he's trying.
But because I think the scenario started with make sure I get this right. Ryback hit the Big Show with the Shell Shock, and then Miz hit Ryback with the Skull Crusher finale. And that's when the pinfall started happening. But I think that overall, though, this was a good victory for Ryback. I don't think this is going to stop the Miz from trying to be the #1 contender for the Intercontinental title. Big Show, on the other hand, I think I want to say something. I'm going to be flat out honest with you. This needs to be his swan song. Big Show needs to retire and soon.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. Even though Big Show I am a big fan of the Big Show. I'll admit that. But yeah, I think it's about time to call it. If he can squeeze in one more, at least decent match in his career, like a one-on-one match, then that would be a fine enough send-off.
Yeah.
But it's clear that they don't really have much for him anymore because he's had pretty much as many heel turns as he had years in the business. So
face turn, heel turn, face turn, heel turn, face turn, heel turn, tweener. Then
yeah.
Face turn, heel turn, face turn, heel turn, face turn, heel turn, face turn, heel turn, then tweener. But anyway,
they turn him like every 5 months. So it's clear that they really have nothing for the Big Show.
Yeah, I think that it's supposed to the point which even Big Show has to understand. Maybe it's time for him to step aside.
Yeah, Big Show has had a pretty long career, so I'm pretty sure he'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame in the future too. So yeah, I think it'd be about time for Big Show to hang up the boots. But anyway, we're moving on. We have family versus family, some were calling it, as it was Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper versus Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns.
People wanted to see Roman Reigns turn heel, and I have never heard that much boos coming out of the city of Brooklyn for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, they really wanted to see that heel turn, and for a split second I thought it was going to happen. Like, there were a few opportunities where it could have happened, but in the end, it just didn't happen.
No, and it shouldn't, because I don't think Roman Reigns needs a heel turn. I think that, contrary to what most people, Steven, thinks, Roman Reigns is a good superstar. Roman Reigns is doing the best he can. I mean, it's not his fault that WWE keeps screwing up his promo and doing this and doing that and doing it wrongly and doing it horribly wrong. I mean, it's not his fault. Roman Reigns is just doing the best he could. And I think that Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, by the way, what an awesome victory, because what a great salute to the Road Warriors when they did the the Doomsday Device?
The Doomsday Device, yeah.
When they did the Doomsday Device. What an awesome way for it to come to an end. And then also, after Dean Ambrose hits Bray Wyatt with the Dirty Deeds. By the way, I hate when they change the Dirty Deeds to a DDT.
Yeah, it was like the Future Shock DDT now.
And then after that, Reigns wanted to come in, just hit Bray Wyatt with the spear to finish him off.
Yeah, I liked the match. It was pretty chaotic in the beginning. They were all fighting on the outside, and I loved it indeed. I really liked that part where Ambrose came off the apron and then Harper just knocked him down anyway. I thought that was pretty cool. And the best part of the match was when the fans were chanting "Roman's sleeping." That was my favorite chant of the night.
Oh man, yeah, this crowd just didn't like Roman Reigns for some odd reason.
Well, Roman Reigns was like laying down on the outside for like a solid 3 or 4 minutes.
Like I
And
said, Roman Reigns took a nap.
yeah, Ambrose was fighting the whole match by himself at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, yeah, that was a good match. And as for the Roman Reigns heel turn thing, if it happens, it'll probably be further down the road because I don't see it happening at the moment.
Now, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
But we'll see. Speaking of heel turns, the next match, Seth Rollins versus John Cena, championship versus championship, U.S. and world titles on the line.
Okay, question number one. You gonna put the World Heavyweight Championship pretty much right there in the middle of the card.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the semi-main event at least, but
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be before the main event.
yeah, but
I mean,
nope, they put it at match 7 out of 10 matches.
mm-hmm.
Before the Divas match, even, I have to add that.
Yeah, either that, yeah, that's gonna cause some people to complain a little bit. Even though, let's face it, as we go explain later on, that Divas match was awesome. But I thought that it went back and forth. Now I have to be honest, Nate, you gonna have to fill me in because I was away from my keyboard.
Mhm.
Nature was calling and then it refused to take a message. So I couldn't believe. And I'll make sure I get this straight. Jon Stewart turned heel.
Yes, in a way, because what happened was, during the match, the referee inadvertently got knocked down when John Cena was going for an AA.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jon Stewart came out with the steel chair, and we know the whole thing they've been building with Rollins and Stewart
Mm-hmm.
over some time. They were like going back and forth, trash talking each other and such. And it looked like Stewart was going to hit Rollins with the chair. He
Mm-hmm.
turned around, hit Cena in the midsection with the chair. Rollins came over, hit Cena with the pedigree on top of the chair, threw the chair out of the ring. Referee back up in the ring. 1, 2, 3. Rollins is the World Heavyweight and United States Champion.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm trying to figure out what are they going to do with the United States title now that Rollins is both the United States champion and the World Heavyweight champion.
Originally, I thought they were going to unify the titles, but they might not. They might just have Rollins drop one of the titles down the road and hold on to the other one for a while.
Mm-hmm. So you're thinking that we could see Rollins maybe dropping United States title and him staying the World Heavyweight champion since the World Heavyweight title has a little bit more prestige than the United States title?
Perhaps, or there's also the possibility that he drops the world title and holds on to the U.S. title for a while.
That's the same possibility, although I don't see that happening unless Sheamus decides to cash it in.
Yeah, that. And who
Are you
knows?
not entertained?
Jesus Christ, where did you come from?
Hmm.
Okay, he's gone. but yeah, who knows when Sheamus is gonna cash in? I feel like it's not going to be until around maybe Survivor Series, TLC at the earliest,
Or maybe the Royal Rumble.
perhaps.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know what they're going to plan on doing it, or they might end up unifying it down the road. Who knows?
Distinct possibility. Although if they do unify, that would lead the World Heavyweight title, the Intercontinental title, and the Tag Team titles. Doesn't
Yeah,
give the mid card that chance at being a champion unless they have a shot at the Intercontinental title, does it?
true, but I think they're trying to go more towards like the old days in WWE when they only had the tag titles, the Intercontinental title, and the World title.
That's true. But then
Because
again, WWE's roster is so big, it's not funny.
yeah, but let's face it, they don't use quite a few of their talents. Like, when's the last time we saw Heath Slater or Adam Rose or Jack Swagger do anything relevant?
Good point.
But yeah, it seems like that's what they're going to do. They might not unify the titles. I could be wrong about that, but it looked like that they were trying to, over the past few years, slowly but surely go back to that old style because they unified the tag team titles, they unified the world titles, they got rid of the brand extension.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it looked like that's what they were gonna do. They unified the women's titles too because there were two.
The women's title and the Divas title.
Yep, they've been unifying all their titles pretty much. So I felt like if they were going to unify the U.S. title with anything, it would be the Intercontinental title, but
Uh-huh.
you never know. But I guess only time will tell on that one.
True.
And speaking of divas and women, the three-team elimination match. Team PCB versus Team Bella versus Team Bad.
First of all, you gotta give Sasha Banks credit. Boy, did she put up a fight. Even though she went through HE double hockey sticks the night before.
Yeah, that was quite the NXT women's title match. I'm going to say this right now. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, fantastic show.
Hmm. Is it better than? Was it better than SummerSlam?
At least TakeOver didn't have the worst finish it could ever have.
That is true. We'll discuss it later.
But yeah. But yeah, Sasha Banks, she didn't do too bad. Team Bad was the first team eliminated from the match.
When yeah, that's right. When Tamina was pinned.
Yep, Tamina was pinned, and I thought the rules were going to be a bit different, but I guess to save a little bit of time, they only had one member from a team be eliminated to have the whole team eliminated.
Hmm.
I thought it was going to be kind of like Survivor Series rules, but I guess they had to save a little bit of time.
Absolutely. Also, and then the match progressed on. I'll be the first one to tell you what a magnificent performance from Charlotte and Becky Lynch. What an awesome performance. And then, who knew Paige could fly? Who knew that these divas could fly? Because I mean, they were flying all over the place.
Yeah, in my opinion, Becky Lynch was the MVP of Team PCB.
Absolutely. What a victory for Team PCB. Becky Lynch with the victory. And I know that probably in less than 23 days, AJ Lee's record of being the longest reigning Divas champion is going to come to an end by Nikki Bella. And I think that one of these Divas might be able to knock her off that mountain.
I feel like it's going to be Charlotte, if anybody,
Hmm. It's a
but it
possibility.
but it might be Sasha Banks, it might be Becky Lynch, it might be Paige, but I doubt it because they've had her to lose to Nikki a few times.
Do you think it could be, I think it said Sasha Banks.
Yeah, I said Sasha Banks. It might be her.
And it
'Cause
could be Naomi.
it could be, but it's like the same thing with Paige. They gave her opportunities and she didn't really, they didn't have her win. So, and they're building up this whole Divas Revolution thing, mainly revolving around Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha.
Hmm.
So I feel as though it's going to be one of the newer Divas who are going to win the title.
Hmm.
So, again, only time will tell.
Yeah.
As we move on to our semi-main event, Kevin Owens versus Cesaro.
Oh my God, this guy had to be hurting all over because of the matchup the hell he went through the night before at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. Owens fell onto, I believe it was two ladders,
Hmm.
um, the night before, and here he comes. Here he comes. First of all, he came out during the pre-show, during the kickoff, and had a major face-to-face confrontation with the panel, in particularly Byron Sexton and Booker T. And I think that after his confrontation, he was getting himself ready for the matchup later on tonight. It was a good thing. I have to be honest. It was a good thing they did put his matchup a little bit later in the card, so at least it gave him enough time to be at 100%. My God, what a matchup these two put on for a semi-main event.
Absolutely. I mean, Kevin Owens and Cesaro, they do have a bit of history, I believe, because I think they faced off a bit back in Ring of Honor,
I,
and
I think they did.
hmm and Yeah, Kevin Owens, we know how he is. We know how fans have been feeling about him because after he lost to John Cena at Battleground, they're like, oh, now they're going to do nothing with Owens. Owens is jobbing.
Owens
But,
is gonna get buried.
yeah, but Owens is still doing stuff. I mean, he had that fantastic ladder match with Finn Balor at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and I think he's going to be done with NXT for good after that.
Yeah.
And he had a good match with Cesaro tonight.
Hmm.
And Cesaro is another guy who needed this match really to be built back up because after Tyson Kidd got injured, he's been doing some things like he accepted that U.S. Open challenge from John Cena, which is kind of how this whole feud with Owens started, really. So it was nice to see Cesaro and Owens have an actual one-on-one match, and it
Hmm.
definitely did not disappoint.
Absolutely. This was an awesome matchup. I'm really thrilled about the ending, and I think it's gonna be a great. I think that I wouldn't be surprised also if Owens goes for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I mean, Owens, everyone's basically saying that he should be like the main eventer and stuff, and I kind of agree, but at the same time, his first feud was with John Cena, and that's pretty much as main event as you can get.
True.
So if they want to put him down a little bit, I don't think that'll hurt him too bad.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was a nice victory for Kevin Owens indeed. As we move on to the main event of the evening, of course, the rematch from WrestleMania last year, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar.
Boy, where do we begin? um, what a botchy, botchy, botchy finish. Uh, because it went back and forth. my favorite part during the matchup, Lesnar stood up like Undertaker started laughing.
Yeah,
Undertaker stood up and started
Undertaker
fucking.
Undertaker's reaction, it was just that
Yeah,
was gold.
good Lord, here we go.
That was gold, Undertaker's reaction when he sat up.
Hmm. Yeah, because Lesnar was mocking Undertaker. Undertaker was mocking Lesnar, and oh boy. And then it just went back and forth. Undertaker had Lesnar in the Hell's Gate,
Mhm.
but then Lesnar turned it around and put the Undertaker in the Kimura, and this is where the controversy started because from one angle you could clearly see Undertaker tapping, but the referee didn't see it. The
But
timekeeper saw it,
yeah,
and that's how come he rang the bell. But
like
then
at first I thought it was just like one of those like miscues, or maybe it was um booked to happen
hmm
that the timekeeper would accidentally do that because they didn't reveal that Undertaker tapped until after the match was over.
hmm
So then you're just like, that really happened?
because the referee was arguing with the timekeeper.
Yeah, I don't even know if that was supposed to happen or if that was accidental. That was confusing.
Hmm. Yeah, because the timekeeper, you know, referee was arguing with the timekeeper, and while the referee was arguing with the timekeeper, Undertaker hit Brock Lesnar with the low blow, and then Undertaker put Brock Lesnar in the Hell's Gate, and then Lesnar flipped Undertaker as Lesnar faded into unconsciousness.
Yeah,
And
Lesnar getting knocked out to win the match. Oh boy.
Undertaker won. Undertaker didn't even stay in the ring. He just left.
You know, people were saying that Undertaker could not be heel. I think Undertaker did a pretty heel thing tonight.
I think that and this is the thing. the fans won't stop cheering for the Undertaker.
WWE was booking him like he was the heel of the feud, but nobody was really buying it.
Mm-hmm.
But after tonight, everyone's like pissed because that was a very screwy finish.
That was a
Like
that was a
Montreal.
that was a terrible finish. That was a finish like WCW finger poke of doom finish.
Yeah, I don't know what in the world they were thinking with that. Like, first of all, The Undertaker tapped out. Okay. They didn't they didn't see it, but the bell still rang. You don't know if that was actually booked to happen, if it was just an accident. You don't know. At least I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But and then to top it all off, Undertaker beat Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar lost consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't want to say it makes him look all that weak, but I think there would have been a better dirty way to finish it than having him be knocked out.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't even like on the Wikipedia page for some reason it says it was by submission. That was not really a submission victory. That was a referee stopping the match victory.
Well, yeah. Technically, the referee starts the matchup. It still goes down as a submission.
Well, in all technicalities, Lesnar never tapped,
Yeah.
but
True.
then again, Lesnar should have won in the first place.
Because the referee missed the point where Undertaker tapped.
Exactly.
And the Undertaker did tap out. And then that just made this whole finish just awful.
Like I don't even know what to think about it. Like it was it could have been executed so much better.
Hmm. See, this is WWE logic at its best.
I mean, to be fair, they really couldn't have had either guy lose clean because Undertaker just came back, so that would kind of ruin his momentum, and Brock Lesnar has had momentum for a long time, and they can't
Hmm.
exactly kill that either.
Yeah.
So for that, they needed a kind of a screwy finish. But
Hmm.
that was just stupid.
Yeah.
There's no other way to describe it.
I could pretty much remember there was some fans that was already angry because of it. So,
Yeah, but that finish aside, SummerSlam was overall a great event.
hmm yes, it was a great event. I didn't like the finish of it. It had a great start with Stewart and Mick Foley doing like a comedy bit to kick off the show,
Hmm.
and the show progressed on. It had a couple of hiccups in there, like a double count out between Ziggler and Rusev. Didn't like that. Xavier Woods couldn't shut up even if his life depended on it. Lana, whew, my God, did she look hot in that outfit? And people going, "Ow!" at the moon. Um, but overall, I think I'm going to get this show probably a B plus. I can't get this show an A because that finish was just awful.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. B plus, it seems like a fair rating. And one more question I wanted to ask: what was your favorite match of the night?
Oh my God! My favorite matchup of the night was Cesaro Owens. That matchup, I don't care what anyone else say. Granted, Undertaker Lesnar was great. It was awesome, but Owens Cesaro that stole the show.
Solid choice. For me, I'd actually have to go with Reigns and Ambrose versus Wyatt and Harper. I thought that was a pretty good match. Like I said, it was nice and chaotic in the beginning. It had a couple of hiccups. The fans were very into it. and they were probably a little pissed off when Reigns didn't turn heel, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, yeah, SummerSlam was a solid show. They messed it up with the ending, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what they do for Night of Champions next month. Well, that's about all we have to say for this one. Carter, thank you for being on the show.
No problem.
All right, everybody, thank you for watching my thoughts on